And now, the B Plus Wrestling Podcast. Watch global. Support local. It's the B Plus Wrestling Podcast.
The Moose.
Not be an A, but you are a B plus.
All right, ladies, gents, and non-binary friends, welcome to another B Plus podcast. I'm your host, Greg Unchained. Today is Monday. You know what that means. It's time for the topsy-turvy, upside-down, twisty roller coaster ride that is the Impact Zone. Joining me, of course, and properly restrained and arms inside the carriage at all times, Mr. Myster1ous. How are you, brother?
I'm a little bit cautious. Should I know anything before getting on this ride?
Yeah, just know that this is Impact Wrestling.
Anything can happen. Logic gets thrown out. It's like, okay, I think I'm ready.
All right, North versus LAX open the show. Of course, North
Adjacent
includes Moose.
includes Moose.
It's like north, south, north. That's I
Yeah,
don't know. I have no idea. Isn't Moose from like Atlanta?
yeah. From
That
Moose
is not. That is not North.
from Moose Nation, as he's billed as. So who knows? That might be like
Well, no. Well, Moose Nation. I mean, there's a lot of mooses. There's
What?
a lot of moose in Canada,
yes,
right?
yes.
So, I guess you could say Moose Nation is
Fond of him.
Moose and Josh Alexander, collectively somehow known as North, take on LAX. LAX get the win. This was like a classic Impact opener. There's not a whole lot to talk about here. Basically, North had been, they want to beat the champions so they can get a title shot. They didn't. Classic Impact opener. Just really good, solid tag team action, but not much else to talk about.
I did enjoy this. I would have much rathered like the actual North with Ethan Page face off against LAX, but maybe they're saving like, oh no, we didn't have our real teammate here when they finally
you gotta think
challenge.
that's where it's going to go, right? Like, oh, I wasn't involved, therefore it wasn't really the North. We need to get another match, yeah.
And we'll see if Moose gets super upset about this and brings in more people to beat down LAX. I think that's the story that he's going with when he loses.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. That makes perfect sense. No, I think that I would have liked to see Ethan Page return to Josh Alexander with a win over RVD and say, all right, now let's tackle the tag division, right? And let's go on and win the tag titles, right? Like that would be amazing.
That would be lovely, yeah.
That happen. North would be a really good tag team, but it won't. And we'll get to that.
Okay, we're skipping ahead.
Yeah, that's way too far ahead. So up next we get Madison versus Taya in non-title action promo.
Yes.
That was bad. Sorry, my notes. Up next, we get the announcement that we're going to see Madison versus Taya in non-title action. This comes by way of a Madison promo.
Yes.
Every time I say Madison in my head, I go to say Eagles. So let's just say Mama Rain.
Mama Rain.
Mama Rain says that she's already beaten Taya.
Twice.
Yeah. And so she should already have a title match, but she gets it. You know, Taya isn't contractually obligated, blah, blah, blah. And she goes into that whole thing. It's a weird angle that they're going with that.
She really is kind of the queen, the high school queen, like demeanor about her. So just like she's taking it in stride and she's being catty when she needs to be. Very selective.
Yeah, see, I didn't see it as taking it in stride. I thought it was very catty. It's like, I am entitled to this, but whatever.
Compared to everyone else's like promos throughout the night, I think, hers was the most restrained. Maybe that's just me.
Yeah, fair enough. Then we got Tommy Dreamer promo. This was actually a nice little promo. Go ahead.
I was going to say, it didn't make it was a little bit incoherent, and he meant well. You could tell he was speaking from the heart, even though he's trying to bring it all together, like trying to say he's responsible for the careers of Rich Swann and Falabar and Scarlett, just trying to make it all make sense. But ultimately, it was sincere.
Yeah. Well, he put over. So I like that he put over. Everyone always told you were too small, right? To Rich Swann. Everyone always told you were too fat to Falabar, and he sort of spun it around and said that Sami Callihan, he's the epitome of all that hatred. He's a troll. He's a keyboard warrior, right? he forgot what it was called. He said Internet Warrior, and then I think it was Scarlett was like Keyboard Warrior, and he's like, yeah, he's a Keyboard Warrior. So I forgot my line.
Bless.
But then he transitioned into the Warriors.
Come out and play.
Warriors. I love that, man.
Yeah.
That as a reference, like, that's one of my favorite movies. So, yeah, that was good. But yeah, so it's a little bit dated though, Tommy.
Yes.
You're dating yourself. That's a reference from the 80s. It's like one that I barely get, you know?
And he's dating himself even more. Like, again, he's mentioning ECW. He's mentioning, like, he should be mentioning House of Hardcore, but yeah, he's tied his hands around his back essentially in his role in Impact.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with dating yourself once in a while. I myself went on a wonderful self-date the other day with some gelato and a walk along the beach. But, yeah, Tommy's getting old.
Yeah. Like, he might be settling eventually into a proper backstage role in Impact Wrestling eventually, instead of hands-on like he's doing at the moment. Hopefully after... I think it's safe to say that this OVE thing's kind of done with him. Like, he might just have a little break for a while.
Yeah. Did you think it was weird when he pointed out the diversity? Like, I'm just a white man standing next to a black man and an Asian man and a woman, and I'm just like, okay.
Yeah, he kind of lost me towards that bit. Like, I'm glad he kind of saved himself by saying Asian, Latino, women. Like, he kind of,
right, because Melissa Santos was there too. Yeah,
he stuck the landing.
Yeah, he didn't. There were no people of different sexual orientations. So
no.
He missed out on the full rainbow, pun intended, of diversity there. But yeah, I feel like he's coming from a good enough place.
I feel like
it was just weird to me. It was just weird. I felt like even Rich Swann was looking at it like, where are you going with this, pal? We may need to do another take.
In terms of diversity, I think they're a good few years behind, but with like last week, how the whole toxic masculinity thing with Conan talking to Michael Elgin, telling him to kiss Johnny Impact, and yeah, their priorities aren't like. Eventually, they'll get to that point, but at the moment,
it seems like they're fine with racial minorities. They're fine with women having power, but the queers are still funny.
Yeah,
like that's how it feels a little bit. Like, which I don't know. I mean, have you seen Don Callis lately? With his salmon shirts and his bald head and the glass. I don't know. He looks
not to.
Maybe he's feeling insecure about some things at his old age. He's starting to realize some things. And see, how does it feel? It doesn't feel nice, does it? When people act like it's some sort of weird thing.
Exactly.
Don Callis.
Exactly.
In your writing, please just be less like that. Anyway, moving along. God, let's just scrap this whole podcast and start again. I am tired. Today is Mother's Day. I've been run off my feet all day.
Happy Mama Lynch Day, everybody.
Happy Mama Lynch Day. Oh, Mama Lynch. Tessa Blanchard up next. She joins the commentary table. She was the highlight. I liked this a lot. She joins the commentary table for Taya versus Mama Rain. Something did piss me off a little about this match. This was a good match, but Taya came out first.
Yeah, but I understand it's non-title, but even then, the champ should come out second.
If I don't care if it's title, non-title, if the champ is in a tag match, they come out last. Always. The champ is the main event. The champ is the one people pay to see, so you make the people wait.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's a minor gripe, and every time the champ doesn't come out last, I will say it because it really annoys me. And yeah, so Tessa, the other thing that annoyed me was on commentary, Tessa didn't get to finish her points. So like, Don Callis asked her a question. I can't remember exactly what the question was. It was, something to do with, will her attitude change? Her attitude is changing, but will her in-ring presence change? And she was like, no, I'm the same person, blah, blah. And like, she starts to make a point, and then Josh does his job, right? And calls the action.
Yes.
So, Taya hit a move, right? And so Josh calls the action, calls the move, but instead of just calling the move and then letting Tessa finish her point, he calls the move and then asks a question. How's that going to impact Madison Rayne moving forward in this match, right? And so then Don Callis and Tessa have to answer that, and Tessa never got to finish her point from before. Rookie hour.
Yeah, a little bit. Like, you gotta... I did like how they were playing just the whole complete demeanor change the last time that Tessa was on commentary. They're just like, I was expecting them to be a bit more weary of her,
Yeah.
but they're just trying to sweep the whole Gail Kim storyline under the rug. No, she's back to normal now. We can focus on that.
Oh, she's back to normal, but she is feeling different. Like she's got more respect now. So she's a face. Tessa's a face.
Absolutely.
Yeah, she's a face now. But yeah, it was just one of those things. And I'm fully aware that I'm sitting here saying rookie hour to Josh Matthews, and I've never called a goddamn match in my life. So I'm well aware that I'm a fucking idiot. Like, don't oh, this neckbeard on the internet. So, no, I know that I know nothing, but just to me, I was like, I let her finish a damn point because she was saying something interesting. I can't remember what it was, but she was saying something interesting and I wanted to hear her finish. And maybe if she finished the point, I'd remember it. But it was to do with her character. And that's what wrestling is. Wrestling is characters. And if you don't let her talk her character, then how am I going to care about her?
So in terms of the actual match itself, Taya's trying to... Yeah, it was a good match. I did like the psychology and the finish of it all. Like, Taya's trying to call out Josh for being Madison's husband and he's just trying to ignore it.
Yeah.
Just saying, like, oh, like, her husband's in the crowd tonight, like, as if it's someone in the audience, and she's, like, talking right at him.
Yeah. Well, then, so Taya ultimately taps out to a single leg Boston Crab. And
like 2 seconds.
Thing is,
yeah,
like a quick tap out, which is good. I like a quick tap out.
Very smart.
Because a quick tap out is more realistic. It's more, it's like, I don't want to be in pain. I'm not going to risk this. I'm going to give up. It's a non-title match. I can do that, right? Makes perfect sense. But I don't like champions losing too often.
Yeah, it's been a couple. She's lost a couple matches now. Actually, like we have had the Jordan Grace match in between at Rebellion, but I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I should point out though as well. After Madison got the victory, so she said in her promo that she's 2-0 against Taya. So this will make it 3-0. But Josh Matthews on commentary, and for the second time, she's the winner.
Yeah.
So a little bit of miscommunication there. But yeah, ultimately, solid match.
Yeah, it was. It was a good match. Not a fan of Taya losing because champion, but, you know, I would have preferred, like, the quick tap out was okay. I would have preferred her, you know, getting to the ropes immediately and being like, fuck this, I'm out. And, you know, using the rope break to get out of the ring, grab her title and go home. Like, that would have been better. Just for me, I don't know. I'm a bit old school, like a protect your champ, protect your finisher.
Yeah, no, I get it. Totally understand.
Protect your character, and the rest will follow. You know, I feel like that's how to get things over. That's how to get things over with me, anyway. Moving on, RVD.
Yes.
Cuts a promo with Melissa Santos, and before we address the actual promo.
Okay.
How good is it that Melissa Santos is being used 6-7 times each show?
Oh, I love it.
Melissa Santos is the best in the business at this particular role at the moment, right now, putting that out there. Now that Renee Young is doing commentary, Melissa Santos is easily the best interviewer in the business, and I love seeing her do it.
Yeah, she can take like all the different dynamics of all the other characters in stride, even when they act a little bit cocky in the sense of RVD. What did you think of his promo?
Yeah, well, I thought Melissa Santos was great. Her facial expressions are brilliant. Everything she does makes me really enjoy watching Impact Television.
Yes.
Does that answer your question?
That answers my question, yeah.
You actually want me to address RVD's promo? How about you tell people what RVD said, yeah? And I'll translate.
Okay, sure. So she asked him, how's it feel to face off against Ethan Page? And he started talking about Diamond Dallas Page and like, oh, I'm sorry. And he pretty much said that I don't need to study for this guy. Do you know why? And he had to walk Melissa Santos through because he is RVD.
This is bad.
This is bad.
This is bad booking. This is bad booking. This is bad writing.
Yes.
You don't do that, right? Now, Don Callis supposedly came from the Paul Heyman school. Have you ever seen Paul Heyman cut a promo for a match with Brock Lesnar? Brock Lesnar, the toughest fucking man on the planet. Easily the toughest guy in any room he walks in, can kill 90% of humans on Earth with his bare hands.
Yeah.
Brock Lesnar. That's the guy Paul Heyman cuts promos for. Have you ever heard him make it seem like Brock Lesnar did not have to overcome some kind of challenge?
Never.
Never. He always says Brock Lesnar's gonna win. That's not a prediction. That's a spoiler, right? Brock Lesnar's gonna win because he is so great. And he always puts over how great Brock Lesnar is. But Seth Rollins, he's in this ring for a reason. He has won multiple. Well, he'll say whatever he says. He will always build up the guy. Like Roman Reigns, Brock Lesnar's actually scared for the first time ever. And that's a big thing for you. That's a big thing that you're able to do that. But you're still gonna lose because he's Brock Lesnar.
Yeah.
That's how you cut a fucking promo. If the people you are facing are worthless, you don't look good by beating them.
Yeah.
So always make it seem like there is something about your opponent so that then you look good when you beat them, or else no one fucking wins. Oh, man.
Yeah.
And I'm a fan. Like, I've never had to write a fucking wrestling show in my life, but just from listening to Paul Heyman interviews, just from listening to JR, just from listening to Cody, right? Just from listening to these guys talk in interviews and on podcasts and all that sort of stuff, like, this is real basic.
Yeah. No,
Make the other person look good. Then when you beat them, you look better. And if you don't beat them, right, then it makes sense because you made them look good.
Like at the very least, I was kind of thinking, because we did have another promo with Ethan Page, like his Josh Alexander's going to be in his corner tonight, and like I was expecting him to have actually watched RVD talk all this shit, so that even if RVD won, which he did, spoilers, but like there could be like a post-match beatdown just to say like, you're going to remember me kind of thing. That would have been great.
Because the North remembers. Oh man, they'll probably get into some kind of copyright trouble if they did that.
Yeah.
But no. So he thinks he's facing DDP. Oh wait, no, it's a different Page, right? Oh, I don't need to research this guy because I'm Rob Van Dam. Fuck you, Rob Van Dam. And
yes,
if that is the point of the booking, which we saw with Johnny Impact, he ultimately was a heel.
Yes.
Sure. If that's the point, then they're doing a good job because it's pissing me off.
Yes.
It's pissing me off watching him cut these promos. It's pissing me off watching him win these matches. So, I'm going to be lenient here and say I think that's what they want.
I hope so. Just because the way they're trying to put him over on commentary, just the way they phrase things, and they keep enforcing that he thinks that everyone is stealing all his moves, that he is the innovator and everyone else is the copier.
Yeah, but that's the thing is too, on commentary, they act like it's true though.
Yeah.
Like, okay, if Don Callis does, he's kind of a heel commentator.
Yeah.
I think he's like a cool heel, like he thinks he's funny.
Yeah.
I don't know, he's in a weird place. But like I said, midlife crisis. Josh Matthews is supposed to be the straight man, but he will even talk about it as if it's a real thing. He will even talk about it as if it's a real thing. So it's very, I don't know. I never know. And I feel like maybe that's the point and I'm just getting worked. And if that's the case, hats off to Impact. If that's not the case, then fuck these guys. Then we get a Rosemary promo, which I really liked.
Yeah. No, I did like the whole the smoke and the purple lighting.
The way it's framed.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, the purple lighting, the dark background, the purple lighting, the smoke. And she announces basically that they're going to have a demon collar match, winner take all, because I guess now they're fighting over the bridesmaid of honor.
I don't know.
Why does Rosemary want the maid of honor?
She had a pet. She grew fond of her pets after a week, and like she didn't want to give it up. Clearly, she has possession issues, and like she even said, like, a cola without a pet, where's the fun in that?
No one owns anything, Rosemary.
Like,
have you watched Tuco and Birdie?
No, I don't think I have.
Okay, there's a new Netflix series called Tuco and Birdie, and it's fun. It's the same people that make BoJack Horseman.
Oh, okay, say no more.
Yeah, and it's the same kind of but it's very different. It's the same kind of animation, right? Like the same animals are doing, and like the visual gags are hilarious. Like they were running down the street and they were trying to catch a turtle, and they saw, like, they ran past all these shops, and one was like fishing nets, and one was like fly nets, and one was like castanets, and it had like the musical instrument. Like the visual gags are on point. But yeah, and at the beginning of the show, she took someone's bike, and he was like, "Hey, that's my bike," and she's like, "No one owns anything." And then later in the show, someone took her turtle with sugar strapped to its back.
Mhm.
That just don't question it. Someone took her turtle with sugar strapped to its back, and and she was like, "Hey, that's my turtle," and he was like, "No one owns anything." And then she's just like, "It's really fun to say that, but man, it stings when it stings when you have to hear it."
Oh yeah, that's exactly
Oh,
where we're in
I'm sorry.
at the moment.
Impact. No, I this Rosemary thing though, I feel like it's like this is where they wanted to go with Ali.
Yeah,
They were going to have a demon collar match over the bunny, but she was like, "Peace, I'm elite, bitches." And so they're like, "Well, what else have we got? The bridesmaid of honor."
like they could have maybe done Kira Hogan. Like that might have made more sense, but like obviously she's off doing something else, and
Yeah, Kira has something more important to attend to, which was a whole roller coaster in and of itself. I swear, Impact is the only wrestling show. No, I won't say only. Impact is probably the wrestling show that makes me feel the most things at the moment, which
yeah, no, that's
is a compliment.
that's you're getting a reaction, whether it's negative or positive. Like they definitely get a reaction out of you.
Yeah, MLW. I was saying this to my partner last night because she was like, MLW. Like I was talking for the first time about how, man, MLW is really great lately, and because I was telling her about what was it? It was probably to do with the Selena De La Renta episode.
Oh yeah,
yeah, Hammerstone and how perfectly they're pushing Hammerstone and stuff. And I was talking about the tournament, and she's just like, "Which one's MLW? Like, I don't remember hearing you talk about MLW." And then I sort of scanned back in my mind. I was like, "Huh, you know what? I don't talk much about MLW because there's nothing spectacularly, groundbreakingly great. Like, I'm not like Invisible Man versus Invisible Stan, you know. And there's not anything ridiculously angering and awful. It's just I sit down, I watch MLW for an hour, and at the end of it, I turn it off, and I'm like, that was a good hour of my life.
very wholesome,
And that's it. That's it. I never have to talk about it either way, good or bad. And so it just kind of falls by the wayside. Whereas Impact, man, Impact makes me feel so many things. Like I feel rage right now at Rob Van Dam. I feel so much confusion over Rosemary. I feel confusion's a big one.
That's the
with
main
Impact.
one that you get from Impact.
And the Kiera Hogan thing, the Jordan Grace thing, which is next, right? So Jordan
Yes.
Grace has a match against Alexia
Yes.
Cole, right? And this, I'm going to read my notes to you, word for word.
right.
Quick power wrestler squash match. This is how you use Jordan Grace. Thank fuck she got away from Kiera Hogan, Ali, Rosemary, Sue Young story.
Yeah.
Right.
And then what happened?
And then 2 segments later, Kiera promo says, "Damn right I walked away. She wants to be left alone. That's what I gave her." Jordan Grace approaches. WTF, why is Jordan Grace in this story again?
No.
Right?
No.
This is where my notes go. But then Kiera gets all fired up, and Kiera goes through this whole thing where, like, so she abandoned
Rosemary.
Rosemary. She abandoned Rosemary because she was like, Rosemary didn't want my time. Fuck Rosemary, I'm out. Right? And then Jordan Grace comes over and she's like, hey. And then she's like, why? What, you're talking to me now? And she's like, of course I'm talking to you. We're friends. And Kiera goes on this rant. I don't have friends. You left me. Like Kiera Hogan has abandonment issues.
Yeah.
Right? Like, hi, Kiera Hogan. Call me daddy. But for real, like, this was amazing. I felt so many things through this whole thing because, like, I was like, yes, like, even on a meta level,
Yes.
like on a narrative level, I'm like, this is really cool. Kiara's getting abandonment issues based on all the things that have happened to her in Impact Wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
And Ali's gone now, right?
Yep.
Ali's left. Like, so there's all this, like, she has these abandonment issues and they're working it into the character in a really interesting, fun way. And then on the meta level, they had me really happy that Jordan Grace was being used right. And then they got me fired up for that second where I was like, why are they putting her back here? But then they relieved that with the great narrative framework building that they've put there. And I was like, wow, this is a masterclass in making me feel
Very
things.
clever.
Yeah. So I don't know. I'm still in that place where I'm just like, I don't know. Is this what Impact want? You've got to think it is, right?
Just for the life of me, I'm trying to think who is in charge of backstage, because I know it's like you got Tommy Dreamer, you got Conan. Like I feel like fuck it, like I feel like Raven's in there somewhere. I feel like
Dreamer, Conan, Raven,
yes.
Don Callis, Scott D'Amore, and not Jimmy Havoc, fucking Jimmy Jacobs.
Yeah. Okay, so from all those people, this would seem like the brainchild of Raven. If anything was bringing out all these emotions and kind of made sense, I feel like it's coming from him somehow. If it all works out.
Well, Raven's a fucking genius.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that much from listening to him speak multiple
Yeah.
times. He is a genius. But I don't know. Like I'm in this place with Impact Wrestling on the whole, where, like I said, I've realized probably today, I've realized that they make me feel more than any other promotion. And now, if I take a step back and look at wrestling as a whole in 2009, well, no, All Elite Wrestling make me feel a lot of things too.
Yes, but they're still starting, so that's
But, yeah, but the stuff that they do with Road to Double or Nothing and with Being the Elite, all the stuff that they've done that makes me feel a bunch of things, I can tell that I'm feeling the thing they want me to feel.
Mm-hmm.
I'm laughing here. I'm feeling laughter here. I'm feeling, I'm feeling tension here. I'm feeling, they're crafting it in a way, and I'm following along like a good fan. Like, yes, I will play along with this. I will suspend my disbelief and play along with it. Right? Boo the bad guys, cheer the good guys, even though I like them all. Right? Like we talked about on All the Rest, Chris Jericho's whole thing with the check and everything. It's brilliant.
It's lovely.
Brilliant stuff. But Impact is in this place where I'm like, I don't know what they want. I can't put my finger on it. But if I take a step back and be charitable and say, well, they want to make me feel as much things as possible, and it's 2019, everyone has the internet, so they have to do it in this weird meta way where they book against what you think so that you get mad at the booking and then they pay it off eventually in this one glorious moment. And if that's what they're doing, man, there's no one better. There's no one better.
Yeah. Because like we
I think I love Impact again.
you've actually figured out, you've honed in on what's like going on with Impact Zone. You found the method to the madness.
Maybe.
I love that idea about it. Like I'll see if I can apply that myself in the next coming weeks. Like I enjoy it for what it is, but I don't know. I'm waiting for the payoff. Like I haven't watched as long a period of time as you have, so I'm not too sure.
Yeah, but at the moment, in this last like month and a half, where it's starting to pick back up again, the last month and a half where it's starting to pick back up again, like there's just little things that make you think, no, they're doing the right stuff here. Like when we get to Brian Cage in a minute, and how they're handling the Brian Cage situation, they're doing stuff right, and so I can't separate the two. I feel like it has to, because I'm feeling things. Yeah. It has to be. Can someone from Impact please listen to this podcast and tell me? Like, just shoot me a message, just in the DMs. Just be like, bro, it's all going according to plan, bro. I don't know why you're Vince Russo. Vince Russo doesn't work at Impact, but just let me know that this is all what I'm supposed to be thinking. So somewhere in there, we also got that, like you mentioned, the Josh Alexander. He's saying, I'm here to support you, man, to Ethan Page. We're a tag team. We're going to go out. We're going to get a victory over RVD. And we're going to continue to decimate the tag division. I'm like, ooh, this has promise.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
Hey guys, just a reminder, if you want to hear all of these wonderful B Plus podcast episodes completely ad-free, make sure you head over to Patreon or Podbean, where we are the featured podcast this week. You can subscribe for as little as $1 a month up to $10 a month, where anything you want to help us with, it really helps out. It's going to help us grow the site. It's going to help us redesign some things, and everything that we get through this and through the advertising as well is all going straight back into the podcast so that we can get Aussie Graps out there for the rest of the world to hear about, for the rest of the world to see, so we can grow this mission of watch global, support local, and build indie wrestling. So if you want to be a part of that and get some really cool rewards like call-in shows, bonus episodes, ad-free like I mentioned, then head over to patreon.com/theb+ and subscribe today. Hey everyone, just want to take a second to tell you about one of our new sponsors, Outbreak Nutrition. Outbreak Nutrition are creating supplements for survival, sharper minds, quicker reflexes, all the energy you need to take your performance to the next level, whether that be on the field, in the gym, on the gaming field. That's right. They have specifically designed gaming supplements as well to help you focus on those late night sessions. They even sell coffee, you guys, at Outbreak Nutrition. You can get coffee pods, you can get coffee beans, you can get supplements for the bedroom as well if you want to enhance your performance there. These are performance enhancing supplements for every aspect of your life, specifically designed by gamers, for gamers, to stay fit and healthy in the gym, to stay sharp and focused on the game, and to dominate in all areas of life. So check out OUTBREAKNutrition.com, and for being a listener of our podcast, they will give you 10% off your order when you enter the code B+. That is BPLUS at checkout. So make sure, if you want to stay on top of your game, if you want to take your performance to the next level, OUTBREAKNutrition.com, enter the code B+ at checkout. And then we get to the RVD match. You wanna take us through that?
Yeah. Now, like, we had, like, the flashback moment of the week was RVD going up against Abyss for the Monster Ball, which the flashback only went for about 6-7 minutes. And it really showed the difference between RVD then and now, because while he does have a lot of the same moveset, he's very limited and he's lost, I don't know, his balance, like, because he was stumbling a lot throughout this match. Like, he was hitting all the kicks, he did the Rolling Thunder and everything else, but this was just a squash match against Ethan Page
and Josh Alexander. Josh Alexander got involved multiple times. RVD faced them both down with no problems. The match went for about 4 minutes. RVD jaw-jacked and taunted for the first minute or so. It was. And it was what he did. So this is the extent of Ethan Page's offense. Ethan Page hit a backbreaker and a suplex.
Yes, that's it.
RVD, after those two big moves in a row, right? Well, big move, backbreaker, whip to the corner, punch, kick to the face, reversal from RVD, punch, suplex, right? So somewhat of a sequence where RVD had a brief hope spot and then he hits the suplex, the big suplex. Like, it was not a stalling, but like it was exaggerated, you know? And then he goes for the cover and RVD slides out before the 1 count. He didn't even get a 1 count off his backbreaker, punch in the corner, suplex combo. He didn't even get a 1 count. And then RVD hits his series of moves. You'd already said he hit the leg drop on the outside, right? The railing spot that he does. Yeah, and he hits the Rolling Thunder, kick to the face, Rolling Thunder, 5-star frog splash, 1, 2, 3, wins the match. And it felt insulting.
Yeah. And like I said before, like, if they had followed it up with the North beating down Rob Van Dam, like, in frustration, that would have kind of saved it for me, but this was just very sad.
Yeah. It really was, right? Like, you felt sad. Yeah. Right? I felt sad. I was like, oh, Ethan Page has so much potential. And RVD said, this guy's a nobody. I don't need to research him or anything. And then
apparently he's right.
And then he beats Ethan Page and his partner in 4 minutes. And, and commentary are putting over like, oh, he looks like he hasn't lost a beat. But you said yourself, you just watched a match from 6 years ago. And he very clearly has lost many beats. He looked way more gassed in this 4-minute match than he did in that flashback.
He was sweating up a storm. Like, the commentary was still trying to.
His face was red. Whereas RVD used to be so effortless.
Yep.
Right? So no, RVD has missed some beats. Point it out. Here's how this match should have played out. RVD cuts his promo. I didn't have to do any research. I'm Rob Van Dam. Right? He comes out, and then Ethan Page comes out with a partner. And then RVD's like, what the heck? Who's this guy? Get this guy to the back. We have a one-on-one match. And Ethan Page is like, he's my tag team partner. We have seconds here in Impact Wrestling. Maybe you should have done some research, right? Have Josh Alexander be that wild card that lets Ethan Page get an upset victory over Rob Van Dam in his re-debut match on Impact. And maybe RVD has to question some shit and grow a little.
Yeah.
That's character building. But again, maybe they want me to be really angry at the way RVD is booked. Man, it's hard. But I just felt sad for Ethan Page because he just got buried. He got buried in one episode after the North were looking so good.
Yeah. we're on the same ride that we were with Johnny Impact. It's just now we've transitioned to RVD, and
RVD, he should be a heel. I think he is,
Yeah.
but I don't know. On a better note, though, Brian Cage, he has like a little promo video thing play about this being the hardest time of his life, right? But he's got a positive mindset and he's going to start rehab. This is brilliant
lovely.
because we know the injury's not too severe. He should be back by the next tapings. He's the champion, so keep him on TV. Let us follow his journey. I like that they're doing that. Then what was
the
next?
Michael
After
Elgin
this
and Johnny Impact promo, which was the exact same sequence of discussion points as last week.
Yeah, Rolando Menendez,
Oh,
though.
God, I forgot.
He was
I
there.
repressed that bloody troll. He was back. It's been a few weeks.
Rolando Menendez, investigative reporter.
He's back. But
I love
as soon as he's back, though, like, Johnny Impact kicks him out, like, within 2 seconds. Like, you want to go to Slamtown? And he just runs off. Yeah, again, like I said, like, they're saying all the exact same things. Like, I put Brian Cage in the hospital. No, I put Brian Cage in the hospital. Like, no, you pick.
Yeah, arguing about it. And then Elgin says he's going to send Willie Mack and Johnny Impact to the hospital. And I'm sitting here just like, what did Willie Mack do?
They had a match at Code Red. That's about it.
Wrong place, wrong time, man. Willie Mack's just... I've got an ambulance out there with Willie Mack's name on it. What? Willie Mack's sitting there somewhere at catering watching, just, dipping his chip in some salsa, just like, huh? Why me? Did I piss someone off?
Poor guy. He maybe should have listened to Killer Cross when he had the chance.
Do I still have that offer to join OVE? Is that still on the table?
And then we had Fatal 4-Way tag match out of the blue. This was Desi Hit Squad versus the Deaners versus the Rascals versus Brent Banks and Aiden Prince. Yes,
Aiden Prince, who I do enjoy Aiden Prince, but who the fuck is Brent Banks? Anyway, so this one, I mean, a highly athletic match. This was like the car crash match. It was great. Well, one of the car crash matches, because we've got the main event to come. But yeah, the Rascals made this match what it was, but the Deaners did actually impress me for the first time.
No, like, this is really like they've only just had the one squash match and then some separate matches at Rebellion, so this is really their proper tag match. So I'm glad that they made everyone notice them.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. They came in with intensity for sure with some of those spear tackles and stuff, and they were, I got on board with them. And of course, so the Rascals stole the show. The Deaners impressed for the first time, so of course, the Desi Hit Squad win.
They've
what the fuck?
They've been on a bit of a losing streak for a little while, and they needed to get some kind of small victory, and apparently this was the time.
Yeah, remember a while ago I predicted that the Rascals would be losing to Desi Hit Squad before we knew it?
Yeah.
I guess it's before we knew
it. I mean, I'm just trying to remember, did they take the pin from them, or?
No, I think it was the Brent Banks guy,
I feel
right?
like he took the roll with the tights, and
Yeah, but Rascals should have won this match. Or Deaners, because you've just debuted the Deaners.
Well, we do have...
The Rascals are the best. The Rascals are the best team in this match, the longest running team. And then the Deaners are the new guys that have that fire behind them. One of them should have won this match.
Yeah. Like, clearly they do have plans for the Rascals, but we'll see if that is long-term booking after the little segment they had and back in the clubhouse.
We'll get to that. Is there anyone in the world that likes the Desi Hit Squad?
I mean...
And is that the point?
Yeah.
Again. I don't know.
We have these existential issues now with Impact that we need to really answer this on a spiritual, metaphysical level. The more we dive into this,
I'm glad you say that, because speaking of existential issues and deeper metaphysical levels, did you watch? So we're about to talk about the best part of the show, the Killer Cross promo.
Oh yes.
But before we get to that Killer Cross promo, did you watch his short film that he did on his trip to Bali? Did you know he and Scarlett Bordeaux are dating in real life? Makes sense.
Yeah, no, I did know that.
They are
a beautiful couple, and it's one of those things I haven't wanted to highlight on all the rest because I'm not a
No,
yeah,
I don't care
yeah.
either. Yeah, I'm not who's dating who
Yeah.
guy, but he made this short film
Memento Mori.
from Memento Mori. Thank you. This is why we keep you around. It's amazing. So he made this short film though on his trip to Thailand, which in every article I read about it was like his trip to Thailand with the beautiful Scarlett Bordeaux, and they have a big picture of Scarlett Bordeaux as the lead-in picture, so that horny dudes will click it, I guess. But yeah, this let's talk about the short film. How fucking good was it?
That was beautiful. Like, it was just 10 minutes.
An insight into the mind of a killer.
And it's weird that they've like highlighting Scarlett when like she was nowhere in this entire in that entire little documentary. It's been out for a little while now, and it's
well, I imagine she was behind the camera.
That would make sense. Yeah,
possibly for all of it. Even
No, I love Killer Cross. Like, I've become a fan of Killer Cross, getting back into Impact because of all this, and like this kind of like the higher meanings that he has. Like both with this, and he's really like, you talk about people online, like how they have really good social media skills. Like he's amazing online, like how he's interacting with the fans. Like he has that fine line between acting like the crazy deranged character and then just being like one of the smartest people in the room. And I'm 100% a fan.
Yeah, this, if you haven't seen it, people, I'm going to put a link in the show notes. I hope. I'll try to put a link in the show notes to this. It's on YouTube. He has his own YouTube. I am now a subscriber to his YouTube because I want to see more of these. I hope he makes more of these. These are the avenue to get yourself over in 2019. We've seen what being the elite can do. But this is different. This is like a proper short movie, and he narrates it. And it's like an internal monologue of himself, on this trip to find himself. And, he kind of comes to the conclusion that he is like, he's made to hurt people. That's what he is. Amazing. It's so good. I can't put it over with words. Like, I can't get it across. You got to watch it. I really liked it a lot from beginning to end. Check it out. Memento Mori.
And then,
which I believe is Latin for an old wooden ship.
It might be. Who knows?
Anchorman reference straight over your head. How old are you? Anyway, we get a Killer Cross promo on this show, which we talk about him as the highlight of the show quite regularly. If he's not the next world champ, then I will eat my sock. He cuts a promo with, I won't really, because Impact is ridiculous. Don't actually hold me to that. Kenny. This promo was with Kenny.
Yeah. This was like, he's trying to, in his own way, he's trying to remind Eddie Edwards that, dude, your friend is a kendo stick. Like, you need to wake up. And people say that we're both crazy. Like, but like, no, I'm a genius. You're just, in his own way.
Yeah, so he was like, I'm nothing. He's like, people will say we're the same. We're both crazy. But essentially, he's saying, I'm nothing like you, right? Because I'm still grounded in reality. I loved this promo, man. The fine line between insanity and genius. Oh, man. Killer Cross as just a psychotic, murderous genius who's just built genetically to destroy. And coming to terms with that. Like when you watch Memento Mori and this together, coming to terms with, this is what I am and I need to embrace it. Like, oh, man. It's powerful fucking stuff.
It's incredible. And it's just a nice palate cleanser from all the other emotions. Like Impact are taking us on the highest highs, lowest lows, and then just the soothing middle, you have Killer Cross.
I think Impact may actually be the best wrestling company on TV at the moment.
You heard it here first, guys.
I don't know where I am.
That's right.
Sorry.
You heard it here first, guys. Like the emotional range, the emotional spectrum that we have with Impact Wrestling.
This podcast is quickly becoming my least favorite and most favorite. I have no idea what's going on anymore.
Speaking of things,
LAX though are with the Rascals.
Yes. Speaking of things we don't know what's going on with, they're in the clubhouse and
they're drinking. LAX is smoking. No, Rascals are smoking. Sorry, and apparently they're lions.
I thought they were scarecrows.
Yeah, well, I don't know. And then LAX start listing off a bunch of teams they could beat. And like he starts with like TV shows, right? Do you have a list? Do you remember who he mentioned here? Because I can't remember. Laurel and Hardy, I think, was one of them.
Tango and Cash.
Yeah, so you can tell this segment was written by Don Callis. You're getting old,
Yeah.
Don. Right?
Uh,
Mention, like, I don't know, who are some modern iconic duos? Like, Peralta and Boyle.
yeah. 9-9.
9-9? I don't know. But anyway, they list off a bunch of these old duos and stuff, and then they start listing actual teams, including the Rascals and the North, and then they go on a whole thing about winter is here. No, winter is coming. No, but winter is here, though. It's winter.
Yeah.
Amazing. And then LAX give the Rascals shots of alcohol, and they all pass out. I don't know what this was, but I guess we're going to get LAX versus the Rascals, which is a very
If nothing
good thing.
else, it's a good thing.
Yeah, as long as the Rascals are treated seriously.
And the real highlight, car crash, whatever you want to call it, the main event, which was a full 20-25 minutes, which I loved. OVE rules match between OVE against Rich Swann, Willie Mack, Tommy Dreamer, and Falaba.
Yes. Team Swan versus Team OVE.
Uh-huh.
Team Ohio.
You mentioned before that you didn't like Taya coming out first. Was it okay that Rich came out first for this one as well?
No. Anyone who has a title should come out last.
Yeah, and I reckon it would have made sense. Like,
I mean, well, Sami Callihan's a bigger star. He's the draw, but no, he's still Sami Callihan. Rich Swann should have come out last. Yeah,
that's all right, but it would have made sense. But where am I going with this? I loved OVE how they come out now with like Sami Callihan always comes out on Man Fulton's shoulders. It's just like it's brilliant visual.
It's a great touch. But apparently this was a hardcore match.
Yep.
Before the weapons came out, though, you get a suicide dive. You get a suicide dive.
You get a moonsault.
We all get suicide dives.
And then Tommy Dreamer can just kind of flop.
I'm not a fan of these spots. I was saying this to someone so let's bring in Aussie Graps. It's what we do. It's kind of what our gimmick. Session Moth Martina just had a match against Avery in Melbourne. And I don't know if you've seen the spot on Instagram and around the place. I'm sure you would have. On top of the, what do you call it?
Container or the
shipping container. They're on top of a shipping container in a warehouse. And Avery kicks Session Moth Martina off. Right? Like, this is Melbourne, and kicks her in the chest, and she goes flying off, which is great. And, they have all the rookies there that catch it, all the young boys, and they catch and they all fall, and it's like chaos. She's been kicked into the crowd, and that's how it's meant to look. But then everyone gets up together to make sure they're up ready to catch Avery, right? If Avery had have sat there on the shipping container for a while and then dived down in a bit of a safer way onto just one person with a crossbody kind of thing, I think it would have looked amazing. And again, I'm not a wrestler. I feel bad criticizing in this way, but whenever they have those spots where everyone gets up really quickly to stand there again to let another person fall on them, it bums me out. It takes me out of it. Like, I know this is a performance and I'm willing to go along for the ride for the most part, but when it's real clear like that, it takes me out of it. And when you do 7 of them in a row, come on, man. Because the only person who didn't do one was Tommy Dreamer.
Yeah.
Even Falaba hit one, which is a spectacle. It's amazing. I love it. But not everyone needs to do it. Am I wrong? Do you disagree?
No, I completely agree with you. Like, it gets. I feel like we've had that spot a few times the past few weeks, and I'm glad that if they were going to do it, then at least it was going to be in the main event. But I agree, they should think of something else. Like, there needs to be another way to transition throughout the match. Like, because there was a lot of hardcore spots in there. You had the ladder, you had the Legos, you had like signs. There was a lot of stuff that could have helped transition that more so than the let's everyone dive outside.
Yeah. It's just because everyone's just standing back up just to get, and I feel like no one's that dumb.
You would think that, but again, this is one of those things, like, Impact's trying to make us feel, and I don't know.
Well, this. You want to know the feeling I have with this is frustration. Right before this match, they announced they're going back to Philadelphia. They're going to the ECW stomping grounds. Now,
Arena, yep.
I was a huge ECW fan. Huge. ECW was revolutionary, not just for the hardcore stuff, but for the way they approached things, the way they embraced counter culture, right?
Yes.
The way they stuck it to the man. That's the real ECW narrative. We need to let ECW nostalgia die.
Yes, I agree with that.
It has to die now. At this point, it's beyond a joke. I love the ECW nostalgia of like One Night Stand and stuff, 2005, that era. The initial House of Hardcore cards, which were like, oh, that wasn't right. That wasn't ECW. This is ECW. When they launched the ECW on Sci-Fi thing,
Yeah, like
those were great. This is ridiculous.
The thing is, at that point now as well, like where we have like the originals like RVD, who, as we mentioned, they're not what they were, and like RVD was kind of like one of those last people who was like in like a prime part of his career, but it's just like talking about ECW, involving ECW stars, like it just they need to cool off from it.
Yeah, it's, I don't know. And then they put on these matches that are hardcore and stuff, and I felt like this match didn't need to be a hardcore match,
No.
Although I popped for the barbed wire chair.
I loved the Samoan drop off the ladder. That was an awesome spot.
Yeah. But then the Lego, I got frustrated with the fans too. Like the Lego comes out and we hit a double DDT on the Lego and they start doing impact chants like impact. And I'm like, really? Like that's like chanting impact for a Canadian destroyer. You can see them anywhere at this point, I don't know.
But aside from that, how do you feel the match went?
Yeah, it was good. Sammy Callahan pins Willie Mack right after the reverse cannonball, which gets me every time.
Lovely.
Love that
I'm
move.
glad the right team won.
Yeah. OVE. I'm a big Sammy Callahan guy. We know this. So I think that the money match is. We said this last week, right? Sammy Callahan versus Killer Cross. That's the money
match. Like they're keeping those two away from each other as far as possible. I'm hoping now that the Rich Swann story is kind of over. Like, do you feel like they can keep drawing from this? Like, I don't know what more they can do.
No, they'll keep drawing from this. They got to have another one-on-one match, but I feel like Sammy Callahan has to win and have a bit of a run with the X Division title to really keep him away, and then we'll have Killer Cross ultimately be the guy who takes the world title off Brian Cage. But that'll be a couple of programs down the line. Brian Cage has to go through Elgin first, probably go through Impact again, and then Killer Cross can rise up. We're
connecting the dots here, and like if that's the direction that we're going, if we're slowly figuring out the mindset of Impact Wrestling, then we're looking for it. We're tentatively positive, would you say?
I'm just on the roller coaster ride, man, and it's the only wrestling promotion that has me in this particular way. Like I said, AEW have me on the ride, but as a really willing participant. Impact have me on the ride with a blindfold on, and I'm literally just feeling the things that are happening, and it's insanity. It's pure insanity. It's chaos.
Oh dear, that's Impact Zone, guys. Like, if nothing else,
what do you feel? Is it a similar spot? Or?
Yeah, no, I'm like, I've always appreciated Impact for what it was in terms of the whole, like, reveling in the insanity of it all. Like, it got a little bit ridiculous for me, but I think I'm at that point in my life where I kind of appreciate it for how it makes me feel and how I react to it. I'm just, it's just one of those things where I can just sort of tune out and just, it makes me question a lot of things I think about wrestling. And what more could you want?
Yeah, it does. It makes you question your assumptions, right? Not everything you know to be true. Like, what if I told you everything you know to be true?
I'm taking
that scene never actually happened. No? That line's not in the movie.
Yeah. No, you're right. What if I told you that line was never in the movie? Yeah.
What if I told you, brother? It's Mandela effect. But that's for a conspiracy podcast. Where can people find you, Mr. Mysterious?
You guys can find me on all the socials at Mr. Mysterious with 1 and 7I, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. hit me up. Let me know what you thought about Killer Cross's movie. How about yourself, Greg?
I am at Greg Unchained on Twitter, at the Greg Unchained on Instagram. Actually, I just saw on Instagram your comment there to Mr. Killer Cross. Speaking of Killer Cross,
I told you, man. Like his social media game's on point. Like he loves the fans.
he is. He's Killer Cross, man. Killer Cross, star of the future. Let's just hope he stays away from WWE. I want him to. He would do so well in New Japan. Anyway, I'm Greg Unchained on Twitter, the Greg Unchained on Instagram. We collectively are the B Plus Wrestle on Twitter, the B Plus Wrestling everywhere else. Like, share, subscribe, 5-star reviews if you like what we do, of course. And thank you so much for listening.
Bye, guys.